Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
The Stanley Cup Final is shifted back to Florida the night before the big game. How you feeling, Oiler fan? Nervous? Excited? Little bit of both? Oh man, these are the days you live for. Oilers with a chance to extend the series and send it back to Edmonton for game number 7. But can they get it done against a team that seems to have figured a few things out? It's going to be a dandy. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Looking forward to breaking it down and previewing Game 6 tonight on the show. As always, it is brought to you by Play Alberta. When you gamble, use your game sense. Play Alberta makes it easy to set deposit limits, time limits, and more, so you can play casino games and bet on sports easily, safely, securely, and responsibly. Everything you need to know is at playalberta.ca. I'm on the road here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, so we're in our mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio now with an online store for all your diesel truck parts needs. You can check them out at adrenalinediesel.ca. Okay. I don't recall what the hell we promised people or why. I don't know what is going on here. I know as the boss of the show, I don't recall approving this. So Struds, can you please explain yourself?
Yeah, well, we asked, or we challenged people to subscribe. If they got over 7,000, I would wear my homemade elk rack. And so we did it. And here I am with it on. I made this over COVID in honor of the Elks, and I wore it to a game. And people were calling me Elkman, which I kind of stuck. I kind of like it. So I said I'd wear it, and here I am. Zuby'd be very proud to see bad boy.
Wait, seriously, you sitting on the floor right now? Like you just got this little teeny weeny head right now.
Well, I'm trying to show off the rack, right? I'm proud of it. And unfortunately, I can't show you the whole thing. It's so big. It's honestly, it's the biggest rack.
Okay, I've got so many questions. You showed up at a football game and wore that? What did the people behind you say? I would have punched you in the back of the head.
Yeah. So strategically, I found seats where I was not right in front of someone, right? So I had it.
How? What are you talking about?
Well, I was down. I was like, I think it was row 10, and I just kind of moved down a little further. I mean, at that time, there weren't a ton of people going to games. Let's just put it that way. So it wasn't like I was, it was in standing room only. But people liked it. Our buddy Quinn Phillips, she loved it. She got a picture with it, and Elkman was on the loose.
Hey, Elkman, how heavy is your head right now?
It's heavy. I don't think I can hold it I did it for a full game, which is longer than our pod, but I think I've got, 2 or 3 segments. I'm going to have to gear down.
No,
too much.
You're not wearing that for 2 or 3 segments. No, you can keep it for the breakdown and then it goes. 7,000 was not high enough. We should have said 10,000. Like this is we're trying to be legitimate. It's the night before an elimination game at the Stanley Cup Final. We're going to try and talk about serious things, and no one is going to be able to take you seriously like this, Struds. You've blown your legitimacy for an entire very important segment here.
He blew his legitimacy years ago when he started talking about offense. No, this is nothing new for him. I wonder how many hours did it take you to make those things?
It was over 20 hours. I put so much time into this, and I've got to get to another game and wear it. It's so good.
How does it feel to have the full head of hair, though? That's kind of the main thing I'm struggling with is this flowing mane of hair that you've got versus what we're normally looking at.
I found the lady on YouTube. She built it for a Broadway show she was doing, and she did step by step. So I followed her. I went to a local craft store, got all the crafting stuff, big crafter, glue gun, everything, man, heat gun, and this is what you end up with. So if you guys want to go to
some stranger says, "What is going on?" Matt Blom says Struddy is making Disney great again. Don't know if I quite get that one. Struddy's got a great rack.
This is a great opportunity for Got Your Back. We can start renting out Elkman to kids' birthday parties and stuff. Make
Right.
a little extra
Yeah,
money for a
that's true.
podcast.
Okay.
Petting zoo.
Zuby is in the chat. By the way, we got Steve Taylor with us tonight. Happy to have you along for the
Yes.
ride as always, Steve-O. Growler Media Group, that is Chris Sabunia. He's in the chat. He says, I love it, Struddy. Even more majestic than I was expecting. So, Steve, feel free as we rock and roll along the way here to throw up some other comments that people have about this ridiculous mess.
There are a lot of them.
Struds has going.
Will do.
Yeah, there's a lot coming in here. There's a lot coming in. Okay, one segment, but we'll make it a longer one. Just going to tee up the show for people here real quick, guys. Talk about Oiler line combinations. What do we think they will be? As we sit here right now, I don't believe we know. I'm not buying what I saw down at Skate today. I think Chris Knobloch's maybe doing a little head fake and a little misdirection. So each of us are going to give our line predictions. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, we'll preview Game 6. In our Take a Lap segment tonight, looking forward to it, Jamie McLennan and I had a good discussion, not so much about who's going to start in net. Darren Dreger reporting today that it'll be Stuart Skinner. Not so much about that, but a bigger picture discussion about what this game, what this series means to the Oiler goaltending situation moving forward into next season. What is on the line here for these goaltenders? So a real good conversation with Noodles coming up a little bit later in our lap segment. And then we'll have all your other favorite segments, Brownie Points and Struddy's World and all the other good stuff tonight on the show. So thanks so much for joining us. We're live on YouTube and on X. I think maybe even Facebook too, Twitch. And looking forward to a good show. So let's get to previewing the game and our breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram dealers. Ram trucks continue to deliver with power, style, and innovation. The 2025 Ram 1500 featuring a bold new powertrain, a redesigned exterior, and state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. See your Ram dealer today. Full team skates for the Edmonton in Fort Lauderdale today, guys. The lines that they ran, and I'm not buying this, so I'm just going to tell you what they ran today. Podkolzin with McDavid and Connor Brown. No Nugent Hopkins on the ice. Evander, Kane, Leon Draisaitl, Jeff Skinner, Trent Frederick, Adam Henrique, and Victor Arvidsson. And then they ran Kapanen, Janmark, and Corey Perry. Now, that was the first run through. Wasn't their traditional line rush drills, and then they showed some different stuff a little bit later on. So the point I'm going to make here is I believe, Brownie, that there are some changes coming. We'll get predictions in just a minute, but it didn't feel like a day where Chris Knobloch was willing to just lay out all those changes for the world to see and practice in them today, which normally he would do, but yeah, for whatever reason, keeping it fresh and not going with that today.
Well, it's funny. It's not as though the misdirection is going to change anything that Florida does. They've rolled out the exact same lines every game, other than when the one kid was hurt and came back, Greer. So I don't think the misdirection might just be for the media, just playing with their minds, but it certainly doesn't going to, Struds, it ain't going to affect Paul Maurice and the Florida Panthers. They are looking at Connor. They are looking at Leon. And they've got their line set, and they know who they are playing against when Connor and Leon are on the ice.
That's really well said. And I think what they've got focused on is they want to slow or stop those two guys. And they're like, the rest of you guys can try to beat us, right? I think they said, this is what we're doing. And it's been working pretty well so far. So your point's really well made, Brownie.
Thank you, Elkman.
Thank you.
Really
Hashtag Elkman, please. Let's get it trending.
I'm really going to try hard here in this segment, dude, but you start talking. I hear a word you say. You look effing ridiculous. Like, it is so ridiculous. This was a mistake. It is so distracting.
I think you look sexy, Strud. You like the sexy elk. Yeah.
Listen, the people did what we asked. They subscribed. If they continue to, I don't know what at 10,000, I know what I'm going to do. I have to find out something even bigger than this.
No.
I don't think
next milestone is more than 10,000. If it's going to be this distracting, the next milestone is more than 10,000. Okay, guys, let's get into some predictions here. And this, I love these moments where changes are coming, but it's not obvious and we're not sure what it's going to be. Because this is where Chris Knobloch has a tendency to he'll come up with some stuff. Quite often it works. Hasn't always, but quite often it does. So
I can't wait. And I believe it's going to be an optional skate tomorrow morning. So I don't think we'll see the lines even tomorrow morning. Might be warm up before we actually see them. So it allows for a lot of discussion and speculation here tonight. So I'm not starting with you, Struds. I'm just not. Brownie,
Okay.
run us through the lines you would run for the game
Okay.
tomorrow night, buddy.
These are my lines. I'm not predicting what Knobloch's doing. That's
Yep.
too hard. I'm going to just go with what I would run. My lines, I
Okay.
would start with Connor McDavid playing with Leon Draisaitl and Corey Perry. I would have RNH playing with Evander Kane and Jeff Skinner. I would have Adam Henrique playing with Frederick and Connor Brown. And I would have Podkolzin, Janmark, and Kapanen as my fourth line. If you're going down swinging with your best two players playing together. So that the best line is Connor and Leon together. Did Struddy's head just fall? Oh, I thought he just fell.
No.
I'm
Good.
going with Connor and Leon together. They got to play their best. You got aces. Play your aces right away. There is no tomorrow if the Oilers do not win that game.
Okay, a big, interesting point that Brownie makes right out of the gate here, Struds, going nuclear right away. What do you think, Struddy? What do you think of that fundamental idea?
Well, the problem I have with that, although I understand where he's coming from, is there's nowhere to go after that. If it doesn't work, you can't go to it, right? The only thing is to separate them after. I think that it's just, I'd rather have it if you need to, you break it up. So I went a little bit different path. What did you see with that, Shaggy?
Yeah, I think they end up there, Brownie. Like really, I think they'll get there eventually. But I do think you start them on separate lines and see if you can't find something that works early. Because if you get off to a great start as a team and they're on different lines and you grab the first game or you grab the first goal and you're not chasing it, now maybe you can start rolling some lines and now you don't have to load them up together, which isn't ideal. So start them apart and then go to it if you need to.
Here's the problem with all of that. They have been dominated in the first period of every game with them apart.
Mm-hmm.
Their best line, we all know, is Connor and Leon together because that's when things are wrong. They go there. Why not get off to a good start and put your best two players together? I mean, when they play together, that's when they're dominant. So why wait till you fall behind in a hockey game to put your best two guys together? Start that way. Here's our best two. See if you guys can stop them because right now, the Edmonton Oilers, every game have given up 2 goals against in the first period. They've been outscored dramatically. The last 3 games they've been trailing. Was it 3-0, 2-0, 2-0? Okay, now we're going to put Connor and Leon together. Start them. That is your best line, and this is the biggest game of the season. To me, it's a no-brainer. You start the 2 best players, and you force the Florida Panthers to chase a bit because they have not had to chase in a first period yet.
Struddy, he makes a hell of a good argument, buddy. That makes a lot of sense. That last thing he said, that makes a lot of sense.
He does. I guess the counter, if they're going to put Barkov against them, it's an easier matchup because Barkov and Reinhardt are pretty good against them, as are whoever Ekblad or Jones and Forsling and all. So it kind of feels like putting all your eggs in one basket. But I do understand if they start that tomorrow, I'll get it.
I love that, Brownie. That's really interesting. Yeah. Struds, before you get to your line combinations, I will throw a stat at you here because, MJ talked about this on our TSN panel today. We threw it around a little bit as well. So that line that you proposed, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Corey Perry, they've actually played 33 minutes and 42 seconds together at 5-on-5 in this series. That's one of the most used lines so far in this series. So in terms of shot attempts, they've gotten 68% of the shot attempts when they're on the ice together, Brownie. So the ice is kind of tilted in the right direction. Now they have been outscored 3-1 at even strength, but you would have to go back and look at those goals and figure out, are they their fault or not? Or, was it a defense that screwed up and such? So I'm not as worried about the 3-1 because it's a pretty individual thing. And the expected goals is at 63%. So based on where the shots are coming from and the quality of the shots, they should be scoring 63% of the goals when they're out there on the ice. So, you can make a statistical case a little bit in both directions, but that line has spent quite a bit of time together. I really like that, Brand. I think that's smart thinking. Struds?
Yeah, well thought out. So I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to try to double shift Connor and Leon more often. So I put groups together that can figure it out. So Nuge, McDavid, and Perry. So they can play together.
Okay.
Podkolzin with Arvi and Leon. And then I've got Kane with Henrique and Kapanen, and then Trent Frederick with Janmark and Brown. The reason I put those bottom two lines in, because I want to drop Connor and Leon into those lines. Now, it doesn't mean the centers don't play. Maybe bump a winger off so that Henrique slides to the wing with Connor, or slides the wing with Leon, or whatever. So now you're moving and you're getting those guys more in there, and I'm trying to get them away from Barkov. I'm trying to find them a different matchup so they can maybe get a matchup that they not that they can't play against Barkov, but just somebody different, and surprise them as you're going on. So I'm looking for double shifting the big guys rather than playing together to get them different matchups.
Brownie?
Well, I mean, you're never going to go wrong double shifting Connor and Leon. The biggest problem, I know, Struds, it makes a good point, getting away from Barkov, but you're getting away from Barkov to play against Bennett and Kachuk, or to play against Lindell and Marchand. The problem that the Oilers have run into in this series, the Florida Panthers have 3 number 1 lines. They do. They have 3 number 1 lines, and the Oilers, their first line has a guy on it. Last few games, Connor Brown is a 4th line guy. And their second line, the last game, had 2 guys that are 4th line players. So the Oilers have it doesn't matter what matchup you try to get Connor and Leon to, they are playing against a line that is fantastic. The only mismatch you could get is if you get them out against the 4th line, and that is only going to happen in this game if there's an icing, because Paul Maurice has the last change. So I understand trying to move away from Barkov, but now you're going to Bennett, who is the hottest player in the NHL. Or if you're not going against Bennett, well, then you're going against Lindell and Marchand, which is actually their best line. They're plus 15 in the playoffs. So Barkov is great, but so is their lines 1B and 1C as well.
You have Kane down on a 3rd line as well. One of the things Brownie and I share in common with our line combinations is that we've elevated Kane back up into what would be more of a traditional top 6 role. So Struds, and this is a bigger discussion point here on Evander Kane. Like, he has not been great in this series, and he's taken some time. He's really been a shadow of what they need from him. And he could be such a difference maker in this series. We all talked about it with Zach Hyman not available. I think you got to put the bad penalties behind him. He's been in the doghouse. I think it's time to take him out of that doghouse and say, you're a top 6 forward. We believe you can be a top 6 forward. Go be a top 6 forward tonight. Go be a difference maker. This is a big stage. Cups in the building. Let him out of the doghouse, Struds. Get him back out there with some high-end guys. That would be my thought on Evander Kane.
No, and I like that. And I guess the way that I'm setting it up, he will be still playing with Connor and Leon. So it's not so much he's on the 3rd line. It's just a group of players that will be playing with Connor and Leon. So this isn't a punishment. I mean, you can put him up the line with Leon. I guess that would put Podkolzin down. He'll still be playing with those guys. So that was my look at. I'm trying to put groups of players together that have something of everything. So when they get with Connor and Leon, they're moving, they're flying, they're buzzing. They have something different to each line.
What say you on Kane, Brownie?
They need more out of him. And to me, right now, this is the last gasp. The Edmonton Oilers, they lose, they're done. You go with the players that you feel have the highest ceiling and give you the best game. Kane has not been as good in these finals as he's needed to be. You're giving him the opportunity. That's why I have him moved up. You're giving him the opportunity. Prove me wrong. Go out there and do what you're capable of doing, because they need more. Connor and Leon cannot beat the top 3 lines of the Florida Panthers. They're just too deep. They need other players throwing in offensively, throwing in physically. And Kane has the ability, as we talked about from the beginning of the series, to change the complexion of a game. And he needs to do that over the next 6+ periods. He has to be what Kane is capable of being.
Mine is a bit of a hybrid of you guys. Nugent Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Corey Perry, at least to start. Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, Kasperi Kapanen. Get him going again. He generally comes in and plays well after, being in the doghouse. Jeff Skinner, I think, is going to stay in the lineup, because I think if they want to go nuclear with McDavid and Draisaitl,
He gives him another scorer that can play on one of the other lines. So I think he stays in because if you want to play 29 and 97
there, Jogger.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. Yeah.
And also with Skinner is he's played well enough. I think he's not only just he gives them another option. I think he's been very good in the games he's played.
Yeah, I think Strud's had him out in favor of Arvidsson. I had him with Henrique and Connor Brown on a third line, and then Pod Coles in Janmark and Trent Frederick on the fourth line. So, but I think it's a night where he goes to McDavid and Draisaitl early, and where we could see if depending on the way the game goes, it could be a 25, 26-minute night from 29 and 97 Struds. Like, to your point, moving them through the lineup, maybe they'll double shift them with some other guys. But if you're going to potentially go down, you go down big minutes for those guys, Struds.
Yeah, and they're just going to go for it. I mean, the problem is that the Oilers play best when everyone's playing, but the problem is not everyone's bringing it. Sorry, that's unfair. It's unfair to say they're not bringing it. They're unable to get on track. So then you go to a shorter bench, which I get because you're trying to get back in or trying to win a game, and then less people are involved. So the best case scenario, Oilers fans, is that he's able to roll 4 lines tomorrow night and get everyone going. And whether it's with Connor and Leon together or separate, if everyone's playing, everyone's going, they play their best. We've seen that through every series. Even game 1, they played 4. That's how they outlasted kind of that first game in the overtime. So they got to find a way to get everybody going. Or again, it's not fair to say, but everyone find a way to contribute to make a difference, Brownie.
Yeah, I think right now, through 5 games, it's pretty simple. The Florida Panthers are the better team. The Edmonton Oilers in the next 2 games have a chance to change that narrative. But right now, the Florida Panthers are the better team and are fully deserving of the 3-2 lead. And if not for an incredible save by Calvin Pickard in overtime, this series could be over. So the Florida Panthers have been better. The Oilers have 2 games to change the narrative.
Okay, we'll talk about the blue line, Klingberg potentially back in, and what else we see coming up in our next segment. Jason says, this is such a good pod. Congrats. Now, that's not you, Struds, right? It says Jason that's not you on the chat complimenting us?
No. Mine comes in as Strudwick D-Man Camps, just so I
separate
very good from other people. Yeah.
Davin says, can you ask the witch doctor to heal Hyman? No, I don't think he'll have time. And Sailor is in with this one saying, did Chris Pronger get a new haircut? No, it's actually, sorry to disappoint you terribly, Sailor.
Sorry, yeah.
This is not Chris Pronger. This is Oiler alum, depth defenseman Jason Strudwick. Often, they're basically interchangeable, though, in a lot of ways.
Mistaken.
Let's get to our UCAN Youth Services Relentless player. An Edmonton charity, Relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24. Get out of harm's way and find employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. I'm kind of tempted to just go with Struds here because that thing looks like it weighs a tremendous amount of weight. You're doing it, as annoyed as I am, you're doing it for a good reason here on the show, Struds. Mm-hmm. How hot is your head right now? How relentless are you having to be to keep this going?
Oh, it's heavy. It's more than anything, it's heavy. I built it to last. These things, very heavy. If someone wants to try it on, maybe we'll meet at an Elks game and celebrate the Elkman.
What are the horns made of? Like, grab one. Can you bend it? Can you squeeze it and bend it?
Yeah, you can take it off. They're removable.
What?
Movable rack. Yeah, so you can take it off. And that's how.
Just do the hair. Just do the hair.
So anyways, I can take this. You can take them all off, and that's how you do it. Oh, stuck. This one's tight. The right one's always tight. There it goes. So this is it. It's quite. You can see compared to my thumb, it's quite a thick rack.
Rack. Yeah.
Oh man, it's heavy. It's heavy. I'll take it off. My head. Look at the head. Oh, that hurts my head. Woo! Made it.
Ridiculous. All right. Relentless player of the night goes to Jason Strudwick for 30 plus minutes, wearing the rack on his head. Hey, Steve, you want to jump in real quick? We'll get to the YouTube poll before we get to our first break, brought to you by our good friends over at DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Yeah, the golf season is rocking and rolling, right? So are your clubs cutting it, or is it time for new grips, a new driver, maybe a whole new set? DeBoer's has you covered. Locally owned and Incorporated. They have been in business over 25 years. They're ready to help you play better golf. Visit them on the corner of 53rd Ave and 99th Street or at deboursgolf.com. Steve, before you do the poll, bud, just got to do a quick check-in on you. Quick well-being check. You are one of the ones on the roller coaster as a monster fan of this team, buds. Yeah. How are you doing?
Not great. Not going to lie. It's you know, it's like this is what we look forward to for decades, and then it happens, and then none of the games are fun. They're not fun. Like, I never have fun. I'm either yelling at my kids or I'm screaming and running around, and the emotions are too extreme. But no, I'm trying to take it for what it is and enjoy the games and enjoy them with my family and stuff. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about tomorrow.
All right, good stuff, buddy. How's our poll looking?
Okay, so the poll. The De Boers Golf Shop and Fitting Center poll is: which depth player do you think will make the biggest difference in Game 6? The 4 options we're going with are Frederick, Klingberg, Henrique, or Brown.
Yeah, any one of those guys stepping up with a big moment would be huge, Struds, because the depth scoring has kind of gone by the wayside here.
Yeah, they're going to need him. They're going to need him for sure. Like Fred or Henrique, I'd really like to see him. He's been in these moments before, not that most of them haven't, but veteran guy, hasn't had a lot of looks, Brownie. I don't remember thinking, oh, he almost scored in this series. To be fair, not many guys have, especially last game. I'd count maybe 3-4 good scoring chances.
Well, again, it's the depth of the Florida Panthers. Henrique's not going against a typical third line, whoever he's playing against. Mm-hmm. If he's out there against the Marchand line, I mean, that's been the best line in the playoffs of any line. Or he's going against Barkov, or he's going against Bennett. So the depth of the Florida Panthers have taken over in this series. To me, if there's one player of that group that could have a big night, it would be, to me, is Connor Brown, because he's got the best of all those players. He has the best chance of playing with Connor McDavid. And the Oilers need a huge night of Connor McDavid. Thus, if Connor Brown gets that opportunity, they're going to need a big night out of Connor Brown as well.
All right, get your answer in, and Strugs will go over the results a little bit later on before Ask Us Anything. Send in your comments as well to Ask Us Anything if you got any questions. Strugs will be flying solo for that segment, so if you got questions for the big guy, throw them in. When we come back, we'll get to breaking down some more potential lineup changes. We'll hear from the captain, Connor McDavid, who is at the podium today at the team's press conference, and then our interview with Jamie McLennan is coming up a little bit later on as well. You got it dialed in, it got your back. Presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
Rolling right along here on Got Your Back. Time now for Takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports, where every day is a demo day. There's no better time to get on the seat of one of their electric motorcycles. Retailing both Can-Am and Zero electric motorcycles. Visit them to arrange a demo on one of these low to no maintenance machines. What better way to commute down to the Ice District to watch a game? Visit Martin Motorsports out there in Edmonton, or online. Check out everything they have to offer at martinmotorsports.ca. It is summertime. They're rocking and rolling over at Martin Motorsports. This place just filled with nothing but fun times. All right, gentlemen, talking about the blue line here, our guess is that John Klingberg comes back in and Troy Stetcher goes out. Again, they didn't really do any drills today that would have been a strong indicator of such. But Struds, is that a change that makes sense and you're expecting?
So what I'm trying to do, and I actually changed the pairings a bit. I'm trying to put pairings together where there's a puck mover on each line and then a complementary piece beside it. Doesn't mean he's defensive, but someone who complements it. So 100% I think Klingberg's coming in. Yeah, it's been fast, but Klingberg we saw, especially earlier in the playoffs, just get the puck to the centers, get them out of the zone a little easier. And I recognize that Florida is different. And I think maybe watching a couple games, Klingberg can maybe see a different way of him doing it or find somewhere to break it because he's a really good puck mover, really good. So this is what I had for pairings. No surprise here, Echo and Bouchard back together. And then I have Klingberg beside Nurse, puck mover beside Nurse, and then or an elite puck mover. And then Kulak on the left with Wallman on the right. What do you think there, Brownie?
Well, in all honesty, I don't like putting the D together because that's not my specialty. But I would have Klingberg in. I think all you have to do is look back. The last time they played in Florida, they didn't trust Troy Stetcher. He didn't play in the second or third periods of the hockey game. So to me, Klingberg is an automatic coming back in. If I was doing anything, I probably would go again back to where I've had success in the past. Ekholm, Bouchard, Klingberg, and Wallman, and Nurse and Kulak, just because they've been comfortable together at times. So, I mean, you can flip-flop throughout the game, but to me, that makes the most sense to me. But I'm not looking at any analytics. I'm not looking at any what's gone on. I'm just looking at a comfortability amongst players in the most important game of the season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Brownie. Struds, Klingberg and Darnell Nurse have played 12 minutes together at even strength, and they've got 31% of the shot attempt share. It's 20 shot attempts against and 9-4. They've been outscored 1-0. Checking their expected goals here. 22.8% expected goals. So this is just an indication when they're on the ice together based on the quality of the shots and where they come from. Those are kind of the indicators of how the game goes. It's not a huge sample size. That pairing makes me a little bit nervous there, Struds. I'm with Brownie. You go Ekholm and Bouchard. That's the tried and true. They've had Kulak with Bouchard a lot lately because I think they were trying to, I don't know if maybe they were worried about Ekholm a little bit, if they were trying to shelter his minutes a little bit and go with Kulak a little bit more. But I'd go back to Nurse and Kulak as well. I'll just check some of those numbers. But Struds, what do you think on sort of going back to stuff that's a little more tried and true? You're muted there.
Yeah, I hear you. I see what you're saying. But Nurse and Kulak haven't been able to move the puck easily in this series. And it's tough. So I'm looking to support them with someone that can move the puck a little easier, right? I think that the best three puck movers are Bouchard, Wallman, and Klingberg that the Oilers have. The other guys look for more the flip and that long stretch pass. And we've seen quite a few icings and just not a lot coming out of there. So when you put two of them together, it just makes it harder for the forwards to get open to make plays. So that's why I have them spread out on the various lines, trying to add balance to people who can move the puck a little bit easier.
37% expected goals for, and they're at a 38% Corsi shot attempt for and against there. That's Nurse and Kulak together. So yeah, it feels Brownie like there's just not really obvious, really great options because of the way, I mean, the Oilers are in one here, man. This Panthers team, like they're deep. They come at you, as you say, with all these really good lines, and then, and they're not giving up a lot either. The next part of this conversation is how can the big guys find a little bit more and find a little bit more earlier in games? Connor McDavid was asked a bunch of questions today. We're going to play just a good solid chunk of his media availability today because he was asked a few different things.
and some are relevant to the discussion that we're having here. So let's get to our Weiss Johnson sound box, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. The summer weather's arrived, and if you don't have AC yet, don't wait any longer. Weiss Johnson's your home comfort specialist. Give them a call and enjoy the summer with a brand new AC unit. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical system or installing new ones, visit weiss-johnson.com today. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson, whoa. We're proud to be local and
Whoa. All right, Connor McDavid at the main stage today, answering some questions. Here he is. Couple minutes worth of the availability.
I would say for 4 games, it's been good. Obviously not
the power play?
Not our best on whatever the other night. Yeah, it needs to be a factor. It needs to at least build momentum, no matter what. And it wasn't the other night, I would say.
Left side front row.
Connor, throughout these playoffs, you guys have done a good job of bouncing back after disappointing losses. Obviously, the loss the other night was disappointing. What is it about this team that's able to do that, and what are you expecting out of tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about the opportunity. As you said, we've bounced back. A lot's been made about that. We talk about that all the time. But for whatever reason, our group doesn't like to make it easy on ourselves and put ourselves in another difficult spot. And it's our job to work our way out of it. And I would expect that tomorrow.
Right side front row.
You got your first goal of the series. You have 7 points. What have you thought of your own play, and what would you like to do better yourself in Game 6?
Oh, well, it's not really about me. It's about us. It's about us trying to get a win here tomorrow night. That's what we're looking forward to. I think everybody has another level, myself included. Yeah.
Left side front row.
Connor, obviously you're a highly tuned athlete that puts a lot into this, but I'm just wondering what it's allowed you to I guess, still have energy to keep playing this many games after 2 years and still be here in mid-June?
Obviously, there's lots of motivation, lots of excitement. They're in the same boat, and they've had an extra year of it. So, 2 teams that know what it's like to play in this intensity, in this environment, at this time of the year. It's fun. It's what it's all about. Yeah.
Right side, second row.
Connor, you played a lot against Barkov the last 2 years, so you've got to see it up close. He's won the Selke a few times. What makes him so difficult to get against, to get open against and get chances against him?
It's the whole team. Their whole team defends really well. Whether you're out there against Barkov or anybody else, it's difficult. They play a really, really solid brand of hockey. If you do manage to get through Barkov and their forwards, then they got Forsling, Ekblad, Jones, back there, and they got a pretty good goalie as well. So they're a good team. They don't make it easy on you, but it's our job to figure them out.
Okay, that last answer was interesting, Brownie. When you get through Barkov and Reinhart, then there's those defensemen as well. No lack of respect between these two teams. They speak very complimentary about one another, and that comment from McDavid shines a bit of light on just the layers that the Panthers have thrown at him.
Well, it's funny. The Florida Panthers are the best offensive team in the playoffs, and they're the best defensive team in the playoffs. This is a great hockey club, and they made 2 trades at the deadline. One up front, Marchand, but the one just before the deadline, getting Seth Jones, they picked up a number 1 defenseman. This is a Stanley Cup winning team. They got better by picking up a number 1 defenseman. Seth Jones has been excellent in these playoffs. He's got a new lease on life. So, as Connor McDavid says, I might be out there against Barkov and I might win that battle. But then his winger Reinhart was up for the Selke. So then I get through him, and now I got, Ekblad and Forsling, who can skate as good as any defenseman in the National Hockey League. Or I'm out against Seth Jones, who's a 6'5" defenseman that can skate like any defenseman in the NHL. And then he throws in at the very end. Oh, and they got a pretty good goalie too, who's the best goalie in the playoffs, and in my opinion, the best money goalie in the NHL right now. Florida has a great hockey club, and they have found ways through 5 games of this series to slow Connor down. And they want to do it one more night to be able to win a Stanley Cup. And as Connor said, it's our job to figure a way out to beat them, to figure a way out to be more productive. And I just never bet against Connor McDavid. He's that good.
It's interesting watching that press conference. All the questions are going to Connor, and then Nurse got a couple at the end. And the first one he got was, "Hey, can you talk about the guy beside you?" Like,
Good
poor
Connor
guy.
was-
That's a
Well, it's a little awkward, Struddy, and like we have conversations
get
all
it.
the time behind the scenes about the way this goes, and I've always felt for that very reason they need to just put Connor up there on his own. But
Yeah.
for that very reason, like you get one question as a media member, they don't allow follow-ups. We would happily ask Nurse a follow-up, but it's hard not to
Yeah.
go to Connor. He's
Yeah.
the story.
No, and I get it, and it's just I thought it,
Yeah,
Don
yeah.
was just sitting there like, "Do you guys even need me here? You want me to talk about the guy that you've already asked 6 questions to?" I thought he made a really interesting a point where he said, we don't do anything the easy way, and we've been saying that they don't do it the easy way, and they find, and then Knobloch actually spoke about it when he had his time that it seems like when they get their backs against the walls, when they they play their best, they've been in this situation many times, whether that's fortunate or unfortunate, they know what to expect. So these guys have been down this road so many times as a group, Brownie. I don't think that they're really, it's not that they're not worried, but they know what it's going to be like. They know the feeling already, and they've had success playing this way.
Well, and that's the thing about both these teams. They're both experienced. Nothing surprises them. We've seen Florida in the playoffs. Some of the series they've had against Toronto never got too, stressed out about where they were in that series, down a couple, losing on home ice, and the others are the same way. Once you've been through it once or twice, you're comfortable in that position. It's always when you talk about teams, they're comfortable playing in a 1-goal game in the third period. They've been there before. So it's funny, though, you're talking, Struds, about Nurse sitting there. It's like I used to get fan mail in Pittsburgh, and it'd be like, "Dear Rob, you are my favorite player in the whole wide world. Could you have Mario sign this hockey card for me, please?" and there would be Mario's hockey card in the letter. I'm like, "Okay, here you go, Mario." So I know how Nurse has felt at times in my career.
Yeah. Okay, that was our takeaway segment brought to you by Martin Motorsports. We'll dig into core adjustments here, and we're going to talk a little bit goaltending. And again, I talked at length with Jamie McLennan about the goaltending situation as well. But core adjustments brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, they have your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, from creating and managing tailored health and safety programs that meet all legislation and core requirements. They support client operations every step of the way. Check them out online, www.hsecor.com. Has Tommy Lesko beat you up on the tennis court at all recently, Struds?
He hasn't had a chance to. Not that he can't. He just hasn't been out there with me. Maybe this week we'll get out there and he can pound me into the ground.
Have you gotten better this year? Have you played much? Like, where's your
I haven't
game
played
at?
as much. No, I actually have a match tomorrow morning. I'm just like a lamb to the slaughter. Just get absolutely annihilated. So that's fun. It's fun to at least get a little sweat on, but I know it'll be a beatdown. Everyone knows in there. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Nice. Okay, guys. So Darren Dreger reporting today, and we've widely speculated it the other night too, so it's not a huge shock, but Dregs is pretty definitive today that it'll be back to Stuart Skinner. What do you think, Brownie? Do you feel like that is the right call to be making right now?
I do, for 2 reasons. One, he has the higher ceiling. He is your number 1 goalie, and tomorrow everything's on the line. Tomorrow, your whole season's on the line. He gives you, in my opinion, the best chance of winning. And 2, if you're not playing him tomorrow, then you're probably trading him this summer. If this is the biggest game of your season, you're not playing Stuart Skinner, then you're moving on from Stuart Skinner a few months from now. So to me, here's Stuart Skinner's opportunity to become a folk hero in this city. And I hope he does. I really do. I hope Stuart Skinner has the best game of his career, Struds. I'm pulling from, but yeah, to me, it was a no-brainer. Stuart Skinner was going to play.
Yeah, those are 2 awesome points. The only one I'd add on is that he's been in these moments before and he's won. He's won some huge games in this moment. So these types of moments. So I think that everything you just said, there's a chance he could have a whale of a game tomorrow, an absolute monster of the game. The problem is they still have to score goals. They still have to get there and get to, what was it? Was it 11 shots after 2 periods last game?
Yep.
Like that's not going to cut it on Bobrovsky. So it's part A is Skinner having a really good game. Part B is them getting to the more pucks to the net on Florida and more opportunities to score.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the right call. You know, he's been in this situation with the cup of the building and a chance for the other team to win it. He's played 4 games with the Stanley Cup kind of on the line, and he's lost one of them, right? So Calvin Pickard hasn't done that yet. He hasn't done that yet. And I just think, I don't know though. And I asked Noodles this same question too, but what's the right thing to be considering right now? Do you need to think about what Skinner did in the past? Do you need to think about who your goalie is going to be next year? Or do you just think tomorrow when Chris Knobloch, wakes up, or today when he made the decision, which of these 2 guys do I think is going to give us a really good game? Should there be anything more important, Struds, than the gut instinct on who's going to give you a really good game on that day in this moment, based on the body of work this season and where it lies right now?
So whatever has happened, if Stu Skinner wins these next 2 games and they win the Stanley Cup, doesn't matter what happened in the past. It's all about the decision you made now. So you go with who you think can help you win right now. I wouldn't play my own mother if I thought she wouldn't help us win. I'd say, sorry, you're out. Like my wife, my kids, I wouldn't care. You're trying to win the Stanley Cup. There's nothing more important than right now. So I don't, I've had somebody text me, oh, they're trying to make this guy feel good or that guy feel good. No, they're not. They might not get another chance. This group might not get another chance at the Stanley Cup. That's just reality. Look at, you think of Corey Perry, how long it took him to get back. You throw everything you can at this to try to win this game. You don't care. Any hurt feelings, nothing. It doesn't matter. You're trying to win the game tomorrow.
I agree. They went with what gives them the best chance to win tomorrow. You don't worry about feelings right now. I mean, and as you said, Struddy, the Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are 3 wins away from 2 Stanley Cups. They might not ever get back here again. So yeah, they throw whatever they think will give them the best chance to win tomorrow. That is who they go with. Forwards, defense, and goaltending.
All right. That was our HSE Core adjustments, brought to you by HSE Core Services. When we come back, we got Brownie Points and Struddy's World, as well as Take a Lap, our conversation with Jamie McLennan, and Ask Us Anything as well. So lots of shows still ahead. You got her dialed into Got Your Back, presented by PlayAlberta.ca from the Stanley Cup Final.
If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca.
Choosing the right health and dental coverage can feel overwhelming, but Alberta Blue Cross is here to make it simple. Their user-friendly website features a free quote tool to guide you through choosing your plan, or you can chat directly with one of their specialists for personalized help. Every plan includes access to personal, nutritional, and financial counseling at no extra cost. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/personal to learn more.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com.
I'm done for a couple games.
All right, time now for everybody's favorite segment, Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you're craving bold flavor and unbeatable quality jerky made with prime Alberta beef that is made and sold right here in Canada, look no further. Their June special is rocking $97.29 for 3 pounds of jerky. And as always, free shipping Alberta-wide. Visit albertajerky.com to see more. Love the hat tonight, Brownie. Relentless over at UCAN. Love it.
This is for my buddy Struds, Elkman. All right, let's start with Brownie Points. And I'm going to go off of today's practice from Chris Knobloch with the lines, or the lines that I suggest that they do. So I'm going to give 104 Brownie Points to Oilers' Jeff Skinner for waiting 104 games to finally play a meaningful hockey game with the centerman that he was signed to play with. I have Jeff Skinner playing with Leon Draisaitl tomorrow, and we can make our friend Jason Elkman Strudwick look like a genius when he said earlier that at some point Jeff Skinner is going to score a big goal for the Oilers. Hopefully that'll be tomorrow night. I have 358 points to the Oilers. It's been 358 days since the Oilers last faced an elimination hockey game. Same two teams, same arena. Let's hope another trip around the sun brings a sunnier result for our Edmonton Oilers. I've got 900 Brownie points to whichever Oiler goalie plays tomorrow. Now we know it's Skinner. The Oilers goalies have a 900 save percentage in 2 games in this series. Both wins. For the Oilers to win Game 6 and to win the series, the Oilers will need a minimum 900 save percentage in each of the next 2 games. Just so you know what's going on the other side, Bobrovsky is at 912 in this series. I've got 33 Brownie points to Oiler fans who are looking for a reason to believe. The Florida Panthers are 1-2, or only 33% in their first elimination game of a series. They beat Tampa, but they lost to both Toronto and Carolina, both on home ice. I won't be using this little stat in Game 7 if we do Brownie points that night, because Florida did close both those teams out on the road in the next game. But 33%, first elimination game, is all the Florida Panthers have done, losing both times on home ice. In the last one, I have 106 Brownie points to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who have combined for 106 points in the 30 elimination games these two teams have played together. Oilers will hope some depth players comes up with a special moment, but for the Oilers to come back and win this series, let's be honest, it will be on the back of their 2 superstars. And those are my Brownie points.
Yeah, some really good stuff in there, Brownie. I want to ask the question. It's been obviously some big overtime moments from Leon Draisaitl, but is it fair to say that he hasn't been at the Draisaitl-esque level you would expect for a lot of the rest of the time besides those big overtime moments?
Well, I think both players. I mean, Connor's got 1 goal in the series, and it came late in game number 5. And he's had looks. I mean, Ekblad walked in on a breakaway. He's had a bunch of good looks. What did I read the other day? Bennett and Marchand have 11 goals in this series. They're their 2 best players for Florida. Connor and Leon have 5. I don't know if anyone would have predicted that before this series started. Connor and Leon, this Oiler team is top heavy. Florida is better with depth. The Oilers are top heavy, and their top 2 players have to have fantastic nights in the next 2 games for the Oilers to win. You can look at Stuart Skinner. You can look who they put in on the back end, which forward lines are going to be together. But this Oiler team wins and loses on the back of Connor and Leon, and they need to be great in the next 2 hockey games.
You absolutely.
Who's been better of the 2 Struds? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'd say Leon's
I think Connor's been more dynamic more often. I think he's had more, created more on his own better looks. He's snake bitten and it isn't scoring, but I think he's been more himself. You?
I'd say Leon. I think Leon's had a better series.
Yeah. It's a little bit unfair because you have such high expectation for Connor, but you can't expect Connor to have a game where he has 3-4 points. And there's been other players that have in this series, but he hasn't. And part of that's from Florida. Florida's done a good job. I couldn't believe what I saw the other night, how well they've done against him. And part of the job of the Oilers is try to find him some breathing space out there. But I think Leon's been better the whole playoffs than Connor. But Connor's he's so much. Well, they both have potential of a moment. But those guys, if they're not a factor tomorrow in the game, it's going to be really hard for the Oilers to win. Really, really, really tough.
Yeah,
point wise, they have to get points. They have to get points. That's what I mean by being a factor.
Yeah, and Game 7 last year, I mean they had trouble figuring out a way to be in a big moment on the road. Florida with a chance to win it, the Oilers with a chance to win it. Like, it's not a guarantee just because it's a big game and the Stanley Cup is there that those guys are going to do it. We've seen them come up short on that front before. It's going to be fascinating to see. Time for Struddy's World, Steve-O. Roll our fancy cartoon on the big guy.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
All right, Struddy's World is brought to you by Timberhouse Developments. When you become part of the Timberhouse family, you might be surprised just how close you will get to the people in the process. Most builders try and keep the customers at arm's length. Once the build starts, not Timberhouse. You are the most important person in the home building process, and you will be treated as such. It's a different approach to what a lot of other builders do. Give it a try. Visit timberhouse.ca and experience their building experience. Struddy?
Couple days, or this morning, I was taking a look at the Olympic rosters, and it's neat to see Sweden, Canada, all those guys. They're what they're putting up. And then I got to the German roster, and a couple of years ago, you'd look and think, well, there's nothing there. Lucas, what was his name? Robert Reichel, those types of guys. Like, there wasn't much in that roster, but this is the 6 that are named to the German team. Leon Draisaitl, superstar. Grubauer, time has passed, but decent goalie for sure. Lucas Reichel, young up-and-coming player. Maurice Seider, really good D-man. Nico Sturm, serviceable bottom 6. Then Tim Stützle, one of the offensive bright lights for Ottawa and one of their really good players. So what I'm seeing here is, I think when you get the top end gets better in a country, the rest of the roster can fill out. Without a top end, you can't have a middle, because your middle is now the top end on that team. So these guys getting higher and better, and those players coming as far as Leon and how they're playing, that is humongous for that program in Germany. Not saying they're going to win or anything like that, but I judge a country's ability to challenge the Olympics by their top end, and Germany is coming over the next few years. We may see, because you look at Switzerland, they have a decent team, but they don't have that super high top end like Germany does. They probably have more depth, less high end talent.
Well, and the thing too, Struz, with high end, that if you have the incredible goalie moment where everything goes right, you do have a couple high end players that can put the puck in the net for you. And that's what we see in the NHL. That's how bad teams in the NHL win some nights against good teams. Goalie stands on his head, and all of a sudden, Celebrini scores 2 goals. It was funny, though. I looked at all those rosters as well, and my favorite one, France. So, France is going to have trouble medaling this year. Their 6 automatic picks. One of the kids is from the East Coast Hockey League. So, this is who they picked as their 6 automatics, and the kids playing in the East Coast League. It's like, you know what they don't have? They don't have top end tier. So I felt a little bad for France on that one.
Top or middle.
Oh, Struddy, you have some dynamite starts to Struddy's World, but today, Dan Grasser says, a couple days ago, today.
I know. I was thinking too far ahead.
You're too far behind, you mean? Way too far behind. Couple years ago, couple days ago. Oh, no, this morning.
Oh, I meant to say a couple of years ago. I was thinking, you're looking at the rosters, right? Anyways.
That's up there with Daryl Dragon. That's up there with you calling Dregs Daryl Dragon. Oh, that was a good one, man. I love that. We got to get that added to the intro, Steve. A couple of years ago.
Yeah, good.
A couple days ago. Oh, no, this morning. I'm getting a little punchy here tonight. Oh, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timberhouse Developments. Okay, Brownie, we're going to set you free, my friend. Let's chat after Game 6 tomorrow night.
Schauger, just before that, Gabriella said a few times that just before Brownie goes, she really wants to get his take. She said, honest opinion, as neutral parties, do you guys honestly believe the Oilers can win tomorrow night and take it to Game 7? Brownie, she wants your thoughts.
Yes, 100%. I've stayed with the Oilers all series long, all playoffs long, all year long. I felt the Oilers are good enough to win a Stanley Cup. I believe right now the Florida Panthers have a better hockey club, but the Oilers have Connor and Leon, and they have a goaltender that has risen to the occasion. I picked the Oilers in 7, and I'll stick with it. So, yes, I do believe the Oilers can win Game 6 and Game 7.
Thanks, Brownie.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll be talking to you guys after a Game 6 victory. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Go well.
All right. Sounds good. See you, pal. That is Robbie Brown. Okay, Struds, let's get to our scoreboard tonight, though we're not going to make it a scoreboard, right? Because obviously we're down to just one series, but there is a topic of conversation we're going to dig into real quick. It's brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. That's their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. It's a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. So I was digging into it a little bit here on Evan Bouchard Struds, and the Oilers off season is coming up here. And I know we got to get through game 6, potentially game 7, and then the focus is on the draft and free agency and such. But I just wanted to quickly touch base with you on Evan Bouchard. So where you're at on the team stepping up and just doing it, just getting it done here on a long-term deal. My sense is right now that a deal will get done. A long-term deal will get done on Bouchard. This isn't going to be about arbitration. This isn't going to be about a bridge. This isn't going to be about a... He's done it in back-to-back playoff years. His analytics, as frustrating a player as he was during this year's regular season, tell a tale. And I think the Oilers are just going to have to bite the bullet and get this contract done. I think they'll be thrilled or very happy with anything under 11 million. I think the deal gets done up to, and maybe even a touch past that potentially. I think this player has just proven himself to be that important, and the cap is going up. And I just think that's what the going rate is going to be for this player. So I'm not saying it's going to be 11 million or more, but I'm saying I think the Oilers will be happy if it's anything less than 11.
Whew, that's I think roughly 10% more than 10 million. So listen, let's look at the facts. He's a 25-year-old. If you sign him for 8 years, you get him for his best years, right? You get him for his best years. He's learned. This guy's played a ton of playoff games already in his relatively short time in the NHL. You're right. The regular season, he did have the ability to make the big mistake that would hurt you, but 9 other times he made the right play. Big shot, helps run the power play, good passer. I think that you maybe see a guy start killing a bit more penalties, although if they don't want to burn him out, maybe he won't. But I believe he needs to have a long-term deal. For sure, you want to get this guy done because the last 2 playoffs, he's been arguably in both playoffs the best D-man, which is saying a lot when you've got 32 teams in that mix.
Yeah. So Brock says 11 million is overkill, 10 max. Okay, Brock. But are you letting Evan Bouchard walk if his camp wants 10.75? If that's where the medium ground is, like you've gone to 10 million. So you're literally walking away if it's 10 and a quarter for a player like this. Like the thing that he does is he gets the puck into the hands of Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid when he's on the ice. His analytics, his ability to get the puck going in the right direction, as frustrating as he was with big mistakes and some up and down defensive play, the one thing has been fantastic at all along is moving the puck. And I don't even think it's so much about his power play points, Struds. I think you put other defensemen in there and they'd be able to... It's not like the power play runs entirely through him. You're not paying him for his power play points. You're paying that guy to be a brilliant puck-moving defenseman that can run that power play. So it's his ability to move that puck to those guys and how special that is.
And he did this a good chunk of the year in the playoffs without Ekholm, who everyone said was his crutch. And he played well. You can talk about those first 2 games against the Kings. I don't believe there was a player that played well really for the Oilers in that time, at least for the full 2 games. But Bouchard without Ekholm proved he can do it. And so I that's one big one they got to get done. Then Connor McDavid obviously is another one. I think they're different negotiations, but with Evan, you want to get this guy sealed. He's 25 years old. The Oilers don't have a lot of that middle meat age people. Those people are in St. Louis and they're also in Buffalo now. You need some middle-aged players on your team.
And we'll talk more about this before the end of the month, but the McDavid thing too. I mean, I fully expect Connor McDavid to do a deal in Edmonton. To me, 2 questions. What's the dollar figure and how many years, right? Does he go shorter term on a 4-year deal and then try and cash in again in a few years, or is he willing to do the full 8-year deal? I think it's going to be somewhere between 14 and 16 and a half, somewhere in there, Struds. I don't know that McDavid's coming over the top looking for 17, 18 million.
I don't know that that happens. Like Leon Draisaitl in at 14 million on this cap. And believe me, when Leon Draisaitl negotiated his contract, they knew where the cap was going. They had a good idea where the cap was going.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to say, well, yeah, the cap has changed so much. They knew when Draisaitl was negotiating his deal. I just don't see McDavid coming over the top with 3-4 million more in ask.
I got a feeling it's not so much about money. And I know this sounds crazy when we're talking about the guy with the highest paid. I believe Connor will want to sit down and understand what the plan is. What are we doing? Right? Like, I'd want to know, how are we finding more players that come in and to help us out? How are we, like, all these things? What's your plan? Everything. Maybe a talk with Knobloch, a talk with Stan Bowman. Like because this isn't, he can get the money anywhere. He can go and probably get more money, Rishaug, right? So that's why I say it's a different negotiation between Bouchard's and McDavid's. Bouchard's is more about the term, the money, getting it done. Connor's already had that deal. He's already had his monster, and he's going to get an even bigger one. But he's going to, if I were him, I'd want to know what the plan is. How are we doing? What's like, you don't have to say we're trading Rishaug and signing Strudwick, but just how are we going to get players? What is the goal? Because if I sign for 8 more years here, I got to get back to the cup again if they don't win this time. If they do
I mean,
win,
I think the conversation's pretty simple, though. I think it's, are you going to are you committed to spending to the cap every year? And are you committed to trying to put the best players around me as possible? I mean, how much more detail do you need to get into that? Are you going to be a cap team every year, no matter how high it goes? And are you going to put me in position every year to compete, right? And I think the organization has shown him. I think they've answered both of those questions for him to this point. So unless it's like, what's your plan in net? What are you doing with Bouch? What are you thinking for the wingers? What are you thinking of? I don't know how detailed they end up laying out the plan.
Yeah, see, I'm looking more. Honestly, I'd be more detailed. Say, how are you going to draft and develop? How are we bringing players through? What's your because 9 years, you can draft a guy this year that could play with Connor before the end of that contract, well before the end of it. There's so many details that have to go into it. And because to me, spending to the cap, I think it's obvious. I mean, this team, I'd be blown away if they're not making tons of money. That's easy. But how do you keep making us relevant every year? How are we going to be like Tampa Bay, who's stretched out this window of opportunity of having success?
Yeah. Also expect Trent Frederick to get done. I know numerous people have been speculating on that. I will jump on that bandwagon, Struds. I think people are going to go, ooh, when they see term. And I think they may even go, ooh, when they see the dollar figure. I believe the Oilers are prepared to place a bet on Trent Frederick. I believe they're prepared to say, we believe this player is going to, be worth the dollar figure that they're going to put in front of him here, and that he's going to grow into that contract. And in 2 or 3 years, as the cap goes up, that deal's going to look good. I think there's going to be some sticker shock when this deal ends up getting announced, but I think this is a player they're willing to place a bet on.
As a center or as a winger?
Yeah. I mean, I think when he's healthy, you probably think that he can play center for you.
I'd like to see him at center. I really would. A big centerman like that, build a line around him that's can score, can be heavy, get down in the offensive zone. Like I would like to see them build a line around him that is what I just talked about. Yeah. Something maybe like Adam Lowry in Winnipeg. Not as good, but something like that is what I'd want to see.
Yeah. All right. That was our free agent look ahead, brought to you by our good friends over at Canadian Club. All right, quick break. When we come back, take a lap and ask us anything. Get your questions in for Struddy. Lots more to come here on the show. Stay with us. This has Got Your Back, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that just leads to better living.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
All right, time now to take a lap. Let's talk a little goaltending, brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, they want to hear from you. One of Canada's original industrial contractors. They are building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada. You can be part of it. Skilled tradespeople, construction professionals, send your resume to trades@acon.com. That is trades@acon.com. Struddy, how long have you and Jamie McLennan been friends for?
Since I was 19. At that time, he was about 31, I think. So he's quite a bit older. But yeah, long time. 30 years.
Yeah.
Plus.
Steve-O, you're going to fill this gray space in the middle? You want to pop yourself up? Or
Yeah,
what do we got going here, bud? We got a new look.
Well, no,
Nice
because
fresh look.
the two-shot is all set up for you and Jamie. So that's why.
It's okay, but I'm just giving you the gears. All right. Well, Jamie McLennan knows this thing on the goaltending front, so I had a great opportunity to have a chat with him, Struds. What we're going to do here is we're going to throw to this interview that I did about an hour and a half ago with Noodles. And I'm going to say goodnight because it's getting late out here in the Eastern time zone, and I'm going to head to bed. And then you, my friend, will finish the show with Ask Us Anything and such. So we'll chat tomorrow night after the game, Struddy. You're going to want to pay attention to Noodles, though. He might have had a suggestion or two for you.
Oh, boy. I know he's going to chirp me. Okay, have a good sleep, buddy. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
All right. And by the way, this interview with Jamie McLennan, not talking so much about the Oilers' decision to start Stuart Skinner in Game 6, and it looks like they're going to go that way, but a bigger picture Oiler goaltending discussion with our good friend Noodles. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody.
Night, Shocker.
But you got Skinner at 2.6 next year, and you got Pickard back for another year at $1 million. So are we somewhat to assume here that they've gotten themselves to a Stanley Cup final? Maybe they push it to a Game 7. Like, is the Oilers' goaltending set for next season based on what's been accomplished to this point by these two? Or does the result of these two games, and whether they win a Stanley Cup or not, or whether they push to a Game 7 or not, or whether one of these guys, let's say Skinner, has great games, next couple of games, and whether they win or lose, does it feel like the future in net is up in the air based on these two games and what Stan Bowman might feel like he needs to go and do? Or is it kind of set here?
It's not set. I don't believe it's set. Because you could argue, yes, they went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final last year. When your number one has to have a reset 2 years in a row, it says to me two things. He's maybe not a true number one and plays too much. Or if you look at it, they've had a team that has been wildly inconsistent, the team in front of him, but has outscored a lot of things that may have gone on back there. So I come back to the word trust. You trust, and you're right, whether they win or lose, I still think they look hard at their goaltending position and say, do we have a stable tandem, or do we have a tandem that has been wildly inconsistent, that we've had to switch back and forth? And has it cost us a cup?
Yeah.
Has it cost us that opportunity to raise the cup? So I would 100%, regardless of what happens, I think they look hard at that position. And I know we got cap situations, all of that, guys under contract. Chris Knobloch said we were there, in his media before the game 5, he said Calvin Pickard was slated to be their number 3, 2 years ago. Jack Campbell was in. Played his way in. He's loved in the room. He's a glue guy, all of that type of stuff. But eventually, you're always, as an organization, looking to upgrade in every position. I don't know if Rodrigue can play, or I don't know if there's a goaltender out there that needs a change. But I would circle that position and say, is that the best tandem you feel comfortable with? It is at that price point. But if they decide to move away from some players and have some more flexibility, maybe, you could spend a little bit more money there and maybe get a little bit more stability.
It's tough, though, because what's so tempting about this duo is maybe you don't feel like you have the franchise starter in Skinner. Right? You don't have the high-end guy that is absolutely for sure your guy.
Right.
What's tempting is $1 million for your backup and an excellent
He won
backup.
22 games last year.
Exactly. You have an excellent backup at $1 million. And where you would love Calvin Pickard is if you were sure about your starter.
Yes.
Rather than maybe you feel like, well, you might have to spend 3.5 or 4 on another guy to come and push Stu, and then it's a 1-1A scenario instead of a clear 1-2 where Pickard could actually step in and be pretty damn good if he needs to. That's tempting at $1 million.
What sucks about all of this is Pickard might be the collateral damage when he shouldn't be. That's really what it is. If you have a stable one, he's an unbelievable bargain. He's a guy who can give you short-term starter minutes, loved in the room, glue guy, community, everything.
He checks all the boxes.
He checks every box as a clear-cut too, right? And cheap, maybe cheap, all of that. The problem is the one doesn't check the box. So what happens is you say, if you're going for an upgrade, you're upgrading that box, the number one box. You don't really need to upgrade the 2 box, but the collateral damage is Skinner would get pushed to a 1B, 1A, 1B scenario. So it pushes that traditional backup box out of the scenario or pushes him to the minor. He wouldn't make it to the minors. If he was put on waivers next year at $1 million, he wouldn't make it.
The other option would be if you think there's somebody that you can just go and replace Skinner with. You say, hey, here's a guy we feel is an upgrade. We're happy with Calvin at $1 million. Great backup, can do it if we need him to. But we're going to instead go with this. This is fascinating. And Stan Bowman was steadfast in, we do not need to go get a goalie. He said it 2 weeks before the deadline to Pierre LeBrun. He just didn't understand what all the questions were about the goaltending in town. So he stood by his guys. He didn't make any deals. They're in the Stanley Cup final. They've got a chance to win it, yet it still feels so very much up in the air. We'll see what happens here in the next couple of games. Before I let
Oh, sorry about that one. I don't know what happened there. Oh, that's all. That's where it ended on the clip he sent me.
Oh, he said didn't get his chirp in. I could tell that they were trying to get to a point where they're going to chirp me, and that's karma. That's karma. So I won't chirp either Noodles or our buddy Schauger. Interesting point from Noodles. So it's and this is, we are getting close to end this season. I mean, people are like, well, why are we talking about this? Well, what are we, like, not even like 14 days, 15 days away from where we're at. We're the end of the calendar year in the NHL, which is June 30th. So no matter what happens in these next 2 days, they're going to explore what it looks like next year for this group, the group being the 2 goalies. Do you keep the goalies? And Noodles did a great job laying it out. I don't have to come over the top at him, but they're going to explore it, and they're going to explore everything. The great thing about this tandem is they're very cheap, $3.2 million for 2. Like, that's crazy. So you can put that money somewhere else.
Yep.
If you decide you're going to upgrade in the netminder, it might go up to 7, 8, 9, 10 million. Who knows for whatever. But then you have to take another piece out of your lineup somewhere and take them out. Goodbye, Jake Wallman. Goodbye, Evander Kane. And goodbye, Henrik. I'm not saying no, those guys will be traded, but you got to take big numbers out of that lineup. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens, Steve-O.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's it's anxiety producing, and it's all those things. And I think, a win tomorrow night, I think makes a lot of difference for all that. Right. And will probably change a lot of what we see here in the off season in terms of moves.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating off season for so many teams. The Oilers not the only one. Okay, that was Take a Lap. Let's slip into what you want to ask. Ask us anything. Brought to you by Mortgages by Marina. Is your mortgage renewal date just around the corner or coming up in 2025? Don't just roll over and accept the bank's first offer. With the right strategy and timing, you could take advantage of rate drops, saving you thousands and keeping more money in your pocket. Why pay the banks more than you need to? Get expert advice and smarter options. Contact Maria Gallus today at Mortgages by Maria. Steve, what are the people asking here?
All right. Well, first of all, let's just wrap up the poll here because...
right. Of course.
Because we can. So, the poll once again... Sorry, I'm going to get me off of here. I don't want Ryan's name where my name should be. So yeah, the poll once again, which depth player will make the biggest difference in Game 6? So coming out on top was Connor Brown with 34% of the votes. Second was Klingberg with 30%. And then Henrique, 20%. And Frederick with 14%. And there were a lot of write-in votes with people suggesting players who are in the bottom 6. And they basically just said, whoever comes out big in that bottom 6 is going to be that guy. And it's going to be interesting to see who it is.
Yeah, I listen. I think it's important for everyone to play well, but Connor, Leon really have to push it. I'm going to look at Connor, Leon, Bouchard, and Skinner. Those 4 guys, if they have a whale of a game, things are going to go well. If they don't, can the rest of the group pick them up? Yeah, sure they can. But I think it's more likely if the big guys play well that they'll really push it. So, but of that group, I pick Klingberg because I think Klingberg has the ability to move that puck out quickly and get away from what Florida can do on the forecheck.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's someone interesting or exciting like Henrique, who we're sort of not expecting. It just becomes an absolute hero tomorrow night. It's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to watching it. All right, on to your questions. Paulie says, what he says is they just need to fire pucks at the net, even from low danger spots, crash and bang, enough perimeter passings, enough perimeter drop passing. It isn't the formula to beat a wagon. And a few comments similar to that on the stream tonight. And just, that theme kept coming back. Pucks on net, pucks on net, pucks on net. What do you think, Struds?
Yeah, so throwing a puck on net when there's no traffic or no bodies in front is a waste. Bobrovsky's going to stop it every time. So it's got to be twofold. One, people going to net. 2, pucks getting to the net. Think back to game, I think it was 3, where Connor just walked down and just hammered a shot, hits Perry, drops in front of Perry. He turns and almost taps it. And I think that would have been the game winner if I remember. But that's what you need. You need, like, just shooting it to the net when no one's there is a waste of time. They have bodies there. They have a good goal in the net. So I think getting to blue paint is important. It's hard, though, to get to blue paint. They're pretty good at it. It's even harder for the Oilers to sometimes get time in the offensive zone because of the way that Florida is defending their blue line and getting the puck out.
Yeah. Starting over at 61 says, Game 5, the Oilers played trying not to lose. That ain't going to work. They got to go out, dictate the pace and style of game that's going to be played. What do you think about trying not to lose versus playing and dictating the pace, Struts?
I hear what you're saying, old 61, but what I'm thinking is that I thought Florida really played a good game. I was in the building watching, and it was so hard. They had no room to move the Oilers. So getting down is not ideal for sure. And if you look at the first 2 goals, they were kind of self-made mistakes, right? So the Oilers could have been 0-0 after 2 periods. Well, I guess, almost. Or after, let's say, the first period. So don't make those casual mistakes, not casual, but those innocent mistakes that lead to a goal or chance against that we saw last game. And there's been other goals that are like that. So against Vegas and Dallas, I thought the Oilers did such a good job of just counterpunching, being smart. Then when opportunity arose, go for it. I think they got to play that same style tomorrow and I know they can do it because they've done it for multiple series now.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with you completely. Mohican says the penalties have neutered the Oilers. Need to be physical and keep those sticks down. We'll know in the first 5 minutes how the game will go. How much are you putting into the first 5 minutes of the game tomorrow?
Well, I think it's important. I think you want to try to get everybody in the game. Obviously, stay out of the box, but just show Florida that and not that they haven't, but just that they're going to play fast, get up the ice, and make plays. Throwing it over everyone's head. I just repeatedly, as a D man, people used to chirp me for doing that, and now you're being rewarded. So, and I understand what you're trying to do, trying to get the pressure off. But if there's a play to be made, make it. Don't just go throwing the puck right away, because what happens after a while if you throw it away or just keep throwing it down the ice, the other team backs off. So you can hit someone underneath. Tape to tape is always better than just a long bomb down the ice.
Yep, I completely agree with you, and I think we've seen it a lot from this team, especially 5-on-5, right? Just how well this team really can play with when they're really solid with those passes. Did you find in the last game that some of the passes were a little more tentative than they had been, maybe less sharp.
I
less
think you're
pressure behind
second
them.
guessing yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's so much pressure on you. You know, we saw D-men, not stepping out and making good, crisp passes. They're just getting rid of it. And even some D-men maybe not coming back to be an option for a puck. And I know that feeling. Oh, I'm hurrying back, but I don't really want it. So maybe I'll make a different play. So you got, and the problem is that just feeds into what Florida's trying to do. So you got to get back faster for the puck, get back quicker for the puck, make quick plays, and get it up the ice as quick as you can so Florida can't get to the wall or can't get to you. And I know it's easier said than done. Trust me, I struggled at it for years. But these are 6 good D-men that are capable. And that's why I put my pairings together earlier. A true puck mover on each one, and then a heavier player on the other side.
Yeah, Taves to Kane says they have to avoid that Florida forecheck and the own zone, neutral zone turnovers.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I mean, but it's hard to avoid the forecheck. You have to just try to minimize the damage by getting back as fast as you can, moving the puck quickly up the ice, and then play in their end, right? Play in their end. The best way not to get forechecks is to stand on the blue line as a D-man, their blue line. So play in their end, make it harder for them. Because even to start the last game, they had Brown had the breakaway, McDavid had the break on the 2-on-1, but they didn't have a lot of time in the offensive zone. I'd like to see that change. And it's hard. I get it. It's hard, but that's why you're playing for the Stanley Cup against this team.
Right. Avi Hoffman says, we know Evander Kane has made some bad penalties, but his upside is too good in the top 6. So, yeah, this is back when we were discussing lines and obviously, thinking that Kane is too good to play in the bottom 6 and his upside is just too strong. What are you expecting from Kane tomorrow night, Struz? We've seen a lot of different versions of Kane throughout these playoffs and even in this series, I think.
Yeah, he is such a important piece for this team if they're going to have success these last 2 games. I think being physical and initiating is really important. And then he's got to find the back of the net. He's a guy that can score. He's got that one-shot, ability to score. And he's got to find the back of the net. If he does that, that's huge for this group because now it gets him going. He's feeling, and now he's chirping guys, running into people. And so I think he's a huge, huge wild card for this group, as are many. But he has, because his ceiling can be so high that if he can get it done, then I think that's a huge boost for the Oil.
Yeah. Paulie asks us anything. Who stays and who goes in the offseason for both scenarios with the Oil winning the Cup and the Oil falling short? And we don't have to go through every individual player, but how much do you think winning the next 2 games versus losing one of them will affect who stays and who goes in the offseason?
Well, I mean, there's some obvious ones that are staying. Bush, I think McDavid, all those guys will sign, and I think that's easy. I think there are other areas that are less clear because you're always trying to improve your team, trying to get better. So can you pay, does Klingberg stay? Does he go? You already got Stetcher, you already got Emberson, who hasn't played in a while. Does Connor Brown stay or go? Trent Frederick, although Ryan Rishaug just said he's going to stay. He'll have an extension in place. Like all those things matter. And then you figure out who you have. And then does Arvidsson stay, right? Does Jeff Skinner? I think it's unlikely that Jeff Skinner stays. I think that one we can agree on. Then the netminders. If they decide they want to upgrade their netminders, I think Pickard would be a desired player for a backup role because he's really cheap and he can get it done. Mm-hmm. So I know that's probably a draft pick. I mean, you're not trading a first rounder, but you're probably getting a draft pick back for him. So these are all things that, it'll be, I don't know that win or lose, it makes that much of a difference when you've come this far.
Right.
Truly,
right.
I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Right. One last one from Ace 96 really wanted your opinion on this, Struds, using Podkolzin as a shadow on Marchand as much as possible throughout the game. Now, what's your thoughts on shadows, especially, putting that much effort into just one, that much focus onto just one player?
You don't see it very often now. No. Although I get when people do it. The problem is that it really throws off everything in the D zone because he's all over the place. And now you get the puck as a D-man. Where's the left winger? Oh, he's over here with Marchand. Or, I think it confuses things. You got to trust your team to do the right thing and be able to defend. And the Oilers have shown they're a very good defensive team. So listen, the recipe to me is pretty clear. Be sharp early. Don't give them easy goals. Like we saw kind of the first couple last game. and then score first. To me, that's the recipe. If I have a bonus, for a bonus, be a little more dynamic and movement orientated on the power play.
Right. Let's end it with a fun one here. Tom Kreka says, "Hey, Struddy, with all this talk of DQ, what is your blizzard of choice after you get walloped 6-0, 6-0?" But what's your blizzard when you head to DQ?
I do a mix. Thanks for the
you create your own
question there, Tim. I really appreciate it. I go with Smarties and cookie dough mix. What about you?
I'm a mint Oreo guy, if possible. You're not a mint person?
No, nothing. The only thing good for mint is gum and tea. That's it. Nothing else mint.
No,
you probably
wrong,
like those after 8. You probably
love the
remember your
after
grandma.
8s.
Yeah, of course you would.
Absolutely.
They can't give those away at London Drugs, and you're probably lining up at Christmas to buy them.
They're so good.
You and your grandma.
Yeah, exactly. No shame.
No, my kids love mint too, and they get it. I'm like, why'd you get mint? I'm not going to eat the rest of yours. I know you're going to eat half your blizzard. I want it, and they're like, Dad, we love mint.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers me about the mint is the bright green food coloring they feel they have to put in everything that's mint flavored. It's unnecessary. I don't need that. I just need the flavor. So
don't need to believe it. All right. Thanks for all those questions. And people, we love having you follow us. And, we've got still so many podcasts to go, hopefully 2 more games as we go through here for sure tomorrow night. And then Struddy's World on Wednesday. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. Press the little thumbs up button. Let's wrap up with our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact gallerydentalYEG.com. I looked at France's Olympic team and Pierre-Edouard Belair, or I'm killing his name. Hold on. Pierre-Edouard Belmar. There you go. He is on the team for France. And I was looking up his stats. If you can believe this, his first international game for France, 2002, U18 Division 2. The team was in Division 2. They won. They move up to next year, D1. He is now going to play in 2024. So 22 years of games. So he has 104 games as a senior and 19 as a junior for a guy from France. He now plays in the French league. What an amazing run he's had. In the offseason, he lives in Sweden. I was reading that on his Wikipedia page. So pretty awesome, buddy. Pretty awesome.
Love those stories so much. That's so fun. And it's something that will be fun to follow as well. So thanks for that tidbit, Struds.
Probably not going to win the Olympics. I'm probably going to bet against him winning gold medal, but still he'll be there, which is more than you and I can say right now. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to all our sponsors for making this possible. Obviously, Brownie, Rishaug, myself, and my man Steve. Steve, any final thoughts before we drift off into the evening and get one final sleep before a pivotal Game 6?
Yeah, I'm just going to really try and sit back, enjoy the game tomorrow night, and just hope for the best. I'm looking forward to it. It's been fun. This could be my last pod of the season. So, it's been a fun one. Thanks, everyone, tonight for everything.
A lot of fun. Stream. Great work today, Steve. Really appreciate it. Everyone, sleep well. Whether you sleep well or not, the game is still happening tomorrow. Let's hope they have a solution to some of the things Florida's been doing so we can get to Game 7 on Friday. Have a great sleep, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow, same time. Enjoy the sleep.
Good night, all.